Good morning. Well, the leader is broken, potentially broken here. Intel down pretty big after hours and dragging the other semis, and the semis have been the leading sector. And so how is the market going to continue up unless something else takes the lead? And to some extent, I guess that's what's happening already, since you can see semiconductor index down here, and the NASDAQ futures are up 34, almost 35 points. Amazon's up pretty big. They reported. I was looking across some of the others here, but Apple's down, not much. AMAT's down. QCOM's down. Xilinx down. That was down huge yesterday. MU down. NVIDIA down over 5.5. Microsoft up just less than half a point. And so on. So where is the strength coming from? Grub up 5 and something. Food over the phone. Well, we'll see. We'll see what materializes throughout the day. And so we'll see where the markets are here. And as we do, always look to see where the opportunities are during the trading day. I'm just scanning through some of these stocks as I'm speaking to all of you. So it's Friday, and another week comes to an end, and we can see what this weekly chart is going to be telling us by the end of the day, since the bar will be complete. We may talk about it during the week, but we don't really know. When that bar is jiggling around and it's in the middle of the range, it was some point at the top of the range where it looked like it was heading up to 92 or better, and now it's at the bottom of the range, and the message is completely changed. And maybe by 4 o'clock, we'll see where this is. Can it move to the middle of the range, making it more neutral versus a topping tail bar? So that's something that we'll be looking at. Anyway, we got this gap down and at 86 bucks. That is breaking some support. And the next level, there isn't much there since it's had such a strong advance to the upside. So we'll see something subjective like the 20 MA possibly holds, but we'll see. We had a breakout above these highs and then a gap down and a failure, and it's following through today. So bearish pattern in the semis that's leading. And I just want to take a look at technology here, which makes sense that it's down a bit. You can see here down at kind of went down to 78. So 78.44. It's going to gap down near the bottom of that range. That's bearish. So intraday anyway, we may have some shorts on some technology names and semiconductor names because of that. So we'll see. I'll be keeping an eye on those. And, healthcare has been making its little counter trend retracement that we're going to be looking to probably short that sometime next week as it reaches some resistance area and so on. So let's take a look here at the broader markets. Spiders, consolidation, still in the upper half of the wide range breakout bar and moving up off of the lows after some number was reported, GDP, I think it was. Saved the day for the moment, but this is overall just a downward choppy bull type of flag after the explosive run up, which we talked about during the week, creating the price void, and now prices have to create new support, and we have that in place. The bottoming tail that dipped down, the recovery, the retest, and now up, which suggests it's going to start to move higher. So can it get over yesterday's high of 292.78? That's what that number is right there. Yesterday's high and low, and the prior day's high and low. So yesterday's high would be the beginning. The day before that is a little bit higher, but based on the bottoming tail bar getting above that high, it should take out that high. right? So we do make some assumptions. So our trigger point would be above that part, yesterday's high. Now, other markets don't look quite the same. And so the question is, can those spiders, that pattern, move higher to new highs without the Qs moving up? Well, the Qs are recovering here. And as the market opens, the first thing I'm going to do is look at what's trading so well within that particular sector at the open. That's taking the lead from the semis and technology. So we're taking a look at that. 190.56, actually above yesterday's close slightly, but a trading range. You can kind of see the head and shoulders top here. And so we'll see whether this keeps pushing up in the first 5 to 30 minutes or whether that begins to roll over. That'll be one of the patterns that we'll be looking for. This did make new all-time highs, and that's a nice looking green bar where the range is expanding from the size of the range from the prior weeks. While nice, it does suggest things are getting overcooked. So when you see prices moving up as they have here, continue to move up, here where the ranges are about the same, and now the range begins to expand, that tells you that you're closer to the end of a move. All right. So as prices are trending over a period of time and you get a range expansion, you're getting closer to the end of the move. And how big is a wide range? Well, all you have to do is eyeball it. How big is the range compared to the most recent ranges? Is it twice as big? Well, that's a good starting point to calling it a wide range bar. Is it 3 or 4 times as big? Well, makes it even that much more clear. The Russell in a trading range here, survived the pullback to the converging 20 and 50, back up to the top, negative day yesterday, kind of just meandering along there. Weekly bar, another neutral week. Not making any headway. And it's just a guesstimate, but I think that, if we were to assume this weekly bar looks something like this, give or take here or there, meaning it's not down here and it's not up there, I think next week it's got to move. Just a thought is, historical patterns, after 4 weeks going sideways, I think week 5 it's time to get going if you're going to be able to get going to the upside. And if not, well, let's see if it'll test the lows. That's enough of sideways price action. We'll see what today brings, as we always do. Transports, nasty day yesterday. Airlines getting shellacked, and we'll go back to it, but we've got American Airlines down here on reporting down at $32. That's a little bit of a nasty gap, which suggests it's going to continue to go lower. The weekly chart isn't much of anything here, but look, obviously it was like trying to make a bottom. It couldn't make a higher high. Now at $32, well, maybe it's got to restart the building process again. So we'll see what that does. But what you want to go look at is the rails. That will really tell the story as far as the transports, because the rails have been leading the way up, not the airlines. But that's a bad gap. Good for bears, but a gap down under or at the low of a green bar that's breaking out above 4 days of highs, that is a bad bar. And it's a wide range bar with volume. Now the next support levels are down here below, so we don't have a tradable void, but that's the start of trouble right there. And if trouble's coming to the transports, what are the odds of this breaking out? Now, Mr. Schizo Market, as I've called him, anything's possible with this crazy son of a gun, right? But, maybe this can keep pushing up and the transports not do much of anything while the Russell is just meandering around. Maybe it can catch up and the Qs, well, they look okay, but the leading sector is now getting weak. The money has to rotate from tech into something else. And oil, which was trying to get going, it's like, what the hell, man? You know, it's just crazy kind of price action while we've got, well, crude oil down here this morning, but having a hell of a run, and at crude prices up here, you'd think that the oil sector stocks would be doing a whole heck of a lot better. And if this weekly bar is going to go out with a topping tail, that looks like maybe, right, it just might be the end of this bull run here. So, you know, that was right around Christmas of last year when the equity market started to move up. So if oil starts to roll over and semiconductors are rolling over, how far is the spiders going to get? And we haven't even looked at the Dow yet. So here's the cash Dow, and 3M gap down yesterday, and that was the weakness there. But it's still in an uptrend. So uptrends in multiple time frames have to be respected, and we'll just have to see whether this, breaks down here or hangs up at this level. So that creates uncertainty. So we see these signs of weakness in different places, yet the trends are up, which means don't get too aggressive on the short side, and the long side probably still works, especially intraday. And we'll see what, as I said, we'll see what's leading here. Solar's down here a bit. What sector is up? Consumer discretionary up a little bit. Oh, we'll take a look in there. Staples are doing nothing. Financials. All right, financials look pretty good. Well, maybe it's financials. Anyway, let's take a look at the rest of what's going on here. S&Ps, all right, just same story. Consolidation at the top there. Qs, NASDAQ futures, chopping around, wide range bar, but holding up sideways up there and retracing back into that red bar. So a bearish bar, but it's going to see if this will roll back over today. All right, if that'll roll back under there, well, that'll set up some shorts. Dow, up a little bit, really not doing much of anything, but in an uptrend. Bonds up nicely. That's not going to be a positive for equities. Look at that hourly bar there, breaking out. And gold kind of coming back from the cliff here. We'll see if that can survive. It's broken, lower highs and lower lows. It came down to this major support point down here. Right, that was the last swing low that made a higher high. So that's a swing low, but it's not a higher high. So we don't call it major support. So this was a drift lower into that major support, but the depth of the retracement puts this trend in question. And so that would move this, in my book, to a sideways trend and on the edge of a downtrend, which the daily already is in. Okay, so monitor that. We already looked at crude oil, which is trending down on the 60, deep retracement, still in an uptrend, major support right down there. Deep retracement puts the trend in question, and we got a topping tail on the weekly. And then so next week we'll see, well, assuming it looks like this at the end of the day, we will see if it moves to the downside. And just as a side note, Tesla breaking down here. This is a giant trading range, and I have to change that to a monthly chart to really appreciate it. Can it hold this area here? Because it is right on the edge, which would take it, technically take it down below 200 to test the next area. Well, that's part of the assumptions that we make. When prices break one support area, historically they go down to the next support area, which is down here. So we shall see. You can see the breakdown already happening on the daily, and the hourly is no help here, even pre-market here for that stock. So with that being said, there you go. Yeah, that's all yours.
All right, thank you. Remember we were looking at plants, PLNT, yesterday into the close, and I wanted to avoid overnight gap risk. Look at that thing. That would have been a nice gift to wake up to, up $3 or so. All right, let's do opens real quick. I have a ton of gappers. Give me 2 seconds. All right, gappers, not gappers, opens really quick. I want to focus on new trades. FRC, we're long stock. It was a 1, 2, 3 breakout, daily, weekly. Costco, a little weakness yesterday. We legged into a covered call. OII, that looks like it hit our stop yesterday. I'll close it out. XLU, we're short the stock on this breakdown. The stop is over here. Nothing to do. LDOS, we're long stock and in trail mode. We have a put spread here left over from a Condor on W, and we'll just let that put spread expire worthless. The only other open in the weekly options trader is TXN, wide range breakout on earnings the other day on Wednesday. We're getting a little bit more weakness here because I'm sure courtesy of Intel. Our stop though is under this wide range bar, so it just has to hold. Earnings and gappers. And target getting whacked here under 79 bucks, way down here. Call spread. So again, we'll need some teamwork here. Let's focus on the tier 1 trades as always, both for income trades, which is, oh really, Amazon, Target's messing with Amazon today, which is directional and selling credit spreads on compelling patterns, today being Friday expiration day, both on earnings, on weeklies. This is going to be a fantastic day when they set up for selling either naked options or spreads. This was a sell setup, gapping up to 70. Wow, that's a big gap. 30-minute low, that would be a consideration for selling an out-of-the-money call spread. Triple M has had earnings yesterday. I guess like keeping an eye on those things. Big S&P 100 stocks that get whacked. WDC, 50 bucks right down here. It's an ugly gap, but it's no pattern. SMH, yeah, that's, Greg talked about it in detail. The semis are getting whacked today. XOM, right at about 80 bucks. That's bearish. There's a candidate. 30-minute low is a directional and out of the money call spread. WY, I see a print here. It's a mess. I don't really know where it's gapping. Yeah, we'll go through the checklist. We got to have tight spreads, which we aren't going to get in the first 5 minutes unless it's really, really liquid. Sony, it's an ADR. I don't like them. You're gone. LYB, 88 bucks, gapping down a little bit. It's a mess. When we had this breakout failure and it couldn't bounce, and then this red bar, that was a beautiful time to sell a call spread, but it had earnings. Gulf Tango, 2061. That's nice. That's a bullish. It's a put spread candidate. Let's keep an eye on that. Chevron up a little bit, but a mess. Maybe 15-minute high, a put spread that expires today. COG, it's a mess. Well, I see a print here, 2660. Well, if that's real, it's very light volume. But if that's real, there's a put spread candidate. COG. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, I have Amazon in the upper right here, and I have Grub bottom right, and Intel here is not bouncing pre-market. We'll get to them all. 1928. That's actually okay. So it's it's gapping to these highs. No, I mentioned 10 minutes ago. I have that as a put spread candidate for today. Absolutely, that's a tier one. Charlie Lima, 6960, way back up here. Nothing to do now. AZN is an ADR, you're gone. AAL, 32 and change. That's leaving a lot of football players above. That's a call spread candidate. Starbucks. I had a subscriber just email me and Greg saying, hey, nice breakout. What about doing I forget the strikes, whatever he told me, 75, 74 for next week. I said, yeah, I like it. NOV is lagging the sector, 2550. Wow, that's bearish. If that thing can't bounce, something is wrong in that company. Look at that chart, cut in half from last year as oil's been rising. Mattel 1328, it's garbage, no interest. 28, garbage, flat. We'll come back to it. IQ 2260. 30-minute low. Well, actually, you see pre-market here under yesterday's low. Under yesterday's low is a short in IQ. ILMN 313. It's a mess. 30-minute low, though. Grub, though, I have as a put selling candidate, 7540. It's gapping way the heck up here. So it's, this is a new low divergence, gapping up over all this resistance. If that can hold, put spread. Fizzler, we'll come back to it. Ford, $10. That's bullish gap. But he trades kind of slow, and the intraday is sloppy. It's not tier one. I like Amazon the best so far. 77.60, just gapping up a few cents. 30-minute high though, I like this. Target 79.80. So I like this one, DFS. Cough, $90. Yep, that looks higher. Gapping from this 2-week consolidation. I wish it was gapping just to 89, but I'll keep an eye on that. King, do me a favor and put your drop down to all panelists and attendees. King is asking about Nike, 87.55, which is flat. It's a big old mess. You now got lower high, you got an engulfing bar, you got a price void under. It's a mess. Like it's a mess. Baidu. Wow, for that to only be opening down a dime, a big volatile stock. There's our Amazon, AIG, total mess. I got no interest. I'm always trying to prune this list. No interest. AFL is a mess. Agilent. This is the one I said yesterday had an interesting bottom. I can't tell where it's opening, but that's a put spread candidate for next Friday, 9:30. My bells didn't go off. Baba, I said it's a put spread candidate. And if it closes here, that's a no-brainer 1, 2, 3 for Monday. Intel. Wow, that is a nasty drop. I mean, look at the daily.